In a writers group that I'm in, we recently got into a debate about disappointing sales. There was one author who said that she expected to sell 10,000 copies of her book on launch day, meaning when her book went live on Amazon. Now, I think it's great to dream, it's great to set high goals. As the old saying goes, shoot for the moon and miss, you'll still be among the stars. However, there's a balance between having unrealistic expectations and setting high goals for yourself. So, one of the authors in our group said that rather than looking at our publishing ventures as businesses, we should look at them as like vacations, and just enjoy them. Like if we took a lavish vacation to, let's say, Paris, that you flew first class, you had champagne, you stayed at a five-star hotel, you took a tour around the city, you took Ubers and taxis while you were there. So you spent a lot of money going to Paris, but you have the experience. And it's something that you'll have the rest of your life. You'll have the photos, you'll have stories to tell at dinner parties, holiday gatherings, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I thought that was an interesting concept. Personally, I think that makes writing seem like it's basically an expensive hobby. And unfortunately, for a lot of self published authors, writing is an expensive hobby. But rather than looking at it in that way, I think what we authors, and especially we indie authors, should do is look at our books like how studios look at movies. Studios release a certain number of movies each year, knowing that only a handful are going to be profitable, especially in this age of streaming. A lot of people are not going to theaters. They'll wait till something goes to a streaming service, and a movie may not make as much money on a streaming service as it does if, say, hordes of people flocked to the theater and bought high-priced tickets to see the movie. So rather than looking at our creative work as an expensive hobby, we should look at it as we release books, we write books, we make movies. Some of them will be hits, and some of them will just be practice learning how to write, what works, what doesn't, what audiences respond to, learning about marketing, learning about distribution. So all of it is trial and error. So if you're a writer, if you're an indie filmmaker, if you're an indie musician, rather than just resigning yourself to, well, I'm never going to make money at what I do, look at releasing your creative work as learning the business and look at it as a law of averages, sort of like dating. When you're dating and trying to meet, quote unquote, the perfect one, you have to meet many people sometimes before you find that person that you click with. And it's the same with creative work. Sometimes you have to put out a lot of product before an audience clicks with you or before you find your audience or find the niche where your work will be received and appreciated. So those are just some thoughts on creativity and the challenges that we indie authors, indie filmmakers, indie musicians, just indie artists in general, the challenges that we face. We have to look at it as a numbers game, like in dating, and look at our work as trial and error. And we're putting stuff out there in the world, and some of it will be responded to in the way that we hope. And some of it is just practice. It's just getting in those hours that we have to put in to master our craft.